Hey y'all, welcome back to the garden. I'm just hanging out here with my burley plants, smoking some burley from last year, getting ready to harvest these guys. As you can see, my plants have grown quite a bit since last year. Just for perspective, I'm 6'4", and these plants are freaking tall. These were taller than last year. And these two plants here and here I've selected for seed cultivation because they're the biggest, most beautiful plants. And they're even bigger this year. So we're going to start doing a harvest. And the way that I do it is, well, last year I cut every plant down at the stalk whenever half of the plant had started to yellow, and I didn't really have good results with that. I had a lot of mold because the stalk holds a lot of moisture. So this year I'm going to do a different method where you harvest the bottom leaves up as they begin to yellow. And so you want to have gloves on because nicotine in the plants can cause you to feel nauseous. Even if you're a regular smoker, it can be a little too much for you. So I'm going to take my clippers too. And so the bottom leaves in a lot of these plants have died off. These are called lugs, or sand lugs, and they're usually not smoked. Probably could smoke them if you want to, but they're going to be really rough and they're going to be really dirty. And so I'm going to get the next set of leaves, and these are nice and wide. See how they're yellow and they got a little bit of brown on them? Fine. So I'm going to get 4 or 5 of those together, and then I'm going to tie them up with a rubber band, and then we'll show you in the tobacco shack how I hang them. So I'm probably not going to hang that one, though I might be able to. I'll save that for, I'll put some of these in a separate file, see what they do. So these are pretty yellow. Put those with those. Cutting off the lugs on the bottom. And you want to do this whenever it's not too bright out, because as you're doing this, whenever it's really bright out, the sun will bleach your tobacco leaves pretty quickly. Within like 20-30 minutes, they'll have white spots on them, and they won't cure the way you want them to. They're very delicate leaves. These leaves are beautiful compared to, I mean, last year I had some beautiful plants, but these are amazing. I mean, look at that. Would you just look at it? Big, beautiful leaves. Biggest leaves I've ever seen. I mean, look at that. So it's not ideal when you have a hole like this, because I'll probably have to cut around it, but it's fine. And you can see, I even on these tall plants that I let go, I'm still going to harvest these. It's just whenever you top them, they focus more energy on the leaf production. But I'm still going to smoke this because why not? I'll come back maybe in a week or so and pick some more of these as they yellow. You know, the longer you wait, the bigger the leaf's going to be. And if you have a burley plant from me and you're in Western Pennsylvania, these plants will last a long time through the season. They can even handle a frost. I mean, last year, this is the end of August. Last year, I cut my plants down in the middle of August, and by the time we had a first frost, I cut them down to the stalk. By the time we had a first frost, I had plants that were this tall again from regrowth, and they handled a frost and the tomatoes died. And then I had another frost and the tobacco got killed. But this tobacco is very resilient. You can see how it's all yellowing. See that one? That's only a little brown. I'm gonna keep that with these ones and see what happens. I don't think it's going to be an issue. Alright, so I'm gonna get 4 or 5 leaves together. And if you face them top of the leaf to the top of the leaf so they're not cupping, it will allow for more airflow. One, two, three, 4. We'll do one more, 5. There. That's a nice cluster right there. I'm going to take 2 rubber bands. Ideally you'd have large rubber bands, and the reason why you want to use a rubber band is because they'll shrink with the tobacco as the moisture leaves. And then you got a nice little cluster. You can set that aside and move on. And next I'll show you the tobacco shack. Bye. Alright, here is my second row of tobacco. And I have just picked all of the bottom leaves and the middle leaves that were yellowed. As you can see, took quite a bit off. And here are the stacks. Here's the middle leaves, and here are the bottom leaves. And I'm about to bundle them up. Alright, so here is the tobacco shack. And you can see I have these hung up. They're about 6 inches apart in rows, and I can fit 2 bundles between the rafters. Over here I have my middle leaves, and over here I have the big bottom leaves. You can see these are quite a bit bigger. I did leave a walkway in between for a couple reasons. I need to hang more up top, and then also they are a little difficult to tell apart sometimes. The middle leaves can be pretty big. So these bottom leaves are used for cigars, rolling and filling, and then also for pipes, and then the medium leaves are used for pipe tobacco. I forget, one of them is used for snuff too, but for my purposes, you know, I'll roll a couple cigars, but I'm going to be smoking all of this in the pipe. The medium leaves, I'll roll that for cigarettes. See if I can get a good downward angle. So you can see I packed it in pretty tight. You know, it looks a little close. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully I don't get any mold. That would really suck, but they look pretty happy, and they'll hang here for 6 months minimum. Now I did have some mold issues last year, so before I did all this, I swept it, vacuumed it, and painted this with mold killing primer, just to kind of combat any possible mold issues I might have. So you can see I have these all hung up, and the way I hung them, I actually staggered them so some of the lines are lower. I just have them hanging by nails, so this is kind of cool because I can adapt each row if I want it up higher or lower. Just hook it around the nail. I kept everything away from major open windows because in case rain comes in. And here's the upper floor. This is the rest of the middle leaves. Got about 12 bundles up here. And then around here I'll hang all the smaller leaves because they can clear and not touch the floor. So in a week or two we'll see how the smaller leaves have yellowed, and then I'll start hanging those up. Alright, so that's it for now. Yeah, that's basically how to pick and hang your burley tobacco. It's pretty straightforward. There's a lot of ways to cure tobacco. This is the most simple and low-tech way. It's called air curing. So you basically just want to wait about 6 months. I smoked it after 4 months, but it was not that good. It was kind of harsh. There's ammonia in tobacco, and the longer you wait, the more ammonia is released. So I smoked some tobacco after 4 months. It was pretty harsh, but it was fine. I smoked it after 6 months. It was really good. Smoked it after 8 months. It was exceptional, and I still have some from last year, and it just gets better and better. I have it all shredded up in a bag, and it's still curing. It's better and better, you know. I mean, some people have tobacco that's 25, 30 years old, but you know, you really don't need to wait that long to enjoy some good tobacco. But yeah, this is you know, one of my passions, one of my hobbies. I do enjoy smoking tobacco, and I would, if I can ever possible, I will never ever buy tobacco again, because I mean, look at that. That's just beautiful, and it's so good. Burley's pretty high nicotine content, so you gotta watch yourself. You know, you can do things like curing it with like a maple syrup water solution after it's already cured, and letting it dry, and then you have kind of a sweet tobacco. You can cure it with like whiskey or other alcohols to flavor it. The air cure, to be honest, it's a little dry and fluffy. You know, it rolls up really good for cigarettes, but in a pipe it kind of just burns out really quick. So my friend Matthew Macri is a tattoo artist and other hobbyist tobacco grower and connoisseur, has given me a big bag of some Turkish leaves, which I ground up or shredded up with my manual shredder. And I've been mixing Turkish with burley, and it's really nice. Turkish naturally has oriental kind of spicy notes, and it's lower nicotine content. And then the burley is kind of tastes like a barnyard. Honestly, it's really, really nice and earthy. But the Turkish mixed with the burley is a really even, you know, simple mix, 50-50. And you know, the nicotine content of the burley and the lack of the high nicotine content of the Turkish balances it out, and then the flavor profiles really mix really well. So I'd really recommend that. If you can grow Turkish, grow it, but if you need to buy it, there's tons of Turkish tobacco growers online where you can buy, you know, big bags of leaves or shredded up. But anyway, yeah, it doesn't get better than this.
good organic homegrown tobacco, and it teaches you patience. You know, I don't smoke as much as I used to because I know that this tobacco was grown, and you know, I know all the labor that goes into it. So it really develops an appreciation for the plant spirit of tobacco. And yeah, so anyway, if you have any questions, drop some comments below. Probably gonna make another video whenever I hang the top leaves, and those are used primarily for cigarettes. And then I will make another video whenever I am pulling some of these down in about 6 months, and I'll show the shredding process. All right, enjoy.